Oh shit, that's heavy as fuck. Damn. Hi and welcome back to Ivan Sandvall Fitness. Today we're going to be talking about the bench press. This is a 2.5 kilo plate. What I just lifted was 105 kilos. Coincidentally, my plan is to hit 105 kilos in 13 weeks. It is a highly unrealistic goal. And today I decided that I'm going to speak about my plan to hit this legendary weight on the bench press and why I don't just settle for 100, but why I try to go all the way to 105, which is, that's past 225 pounds at that point. I think that's like 230, maybe. So, I don't know why I'm picking this off, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Let's talk about what I'm going to do in order to achieve this massive goal. And really, there are training program adjustments that need to be made, but there are also other adjustments that will be made simultaneously as I slightly change the training programming. So first of all, as you guys might know, I'm just going to sit back nice and comfortably. I do Bulgarian training, which basically means that I do, on most lifts, one heavy training max per day, and on the bench press specifically, I do it 3 times a week. I do the overhead press, the other 3, and then on Sundays, which is today as I'm recording this video, I run on Sundays. It's a cardio day, no lifting at all. Now, my current bench press volume, if we can call it that, is 3 heavy reps per week. I hit 3 training maxes per week on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays, and I hit 3 training maxes per week on the overhead press on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Now, the training program fix that I'm going to incorporate here will be a slight raise in volume. As many of you might know, training volume is a critical component for hypertrophy, which basically means putting on muscle. Oftentimes you have to increase your training volume in order to gain more muscle after a certain point. I'm closing in on that point now. Next week I'm going to go for a 90 kilo bench press, which is a lifetime record. Now, it's muscle memory to get to basically where I've been, which is where I'm at now. But to get past that, you have to go up a level in training programming, which basically means you have to do more work, you have to do more volume, you have to put in more effort. And, it's basically an Olympic athlete trains way more than a regional level athlete. It's basically that. The Olympic level athlete requires so much more volume to get an increase in results. And that's where I'm at right now. Now, what is this massive increase in volume, you might ask? What is this dramatic thing? I really want to know, this sounds interesting. It's going to be basically 6 sets added per week. 1 set added per day. Now, people who follow my channel might think that this is acceptable. Other more normal people will think that, what the fuck? 1 set? 1 set? That's pathetic. Now, 1 set per day adds up though, when you're training every day. So remember that. But basically what I'm going to do is, on both the overhead press and the bench press, I'm going to incorporate something known as back off work. Now, in powerlifting, people often do a heavy single, heavy double, heavy triple, whatever, and then afterwards they go down, strip some weight off, take a plate off, whatever, and they lift a lighter weight for more reps pretty much immediately after lifting something heavy, or a couple minutes after. That way they can hit the upper threshold muscle fibers, they can do that heavy lift, and afterwards they can put in a bit more volume with a lighter weight and put on some muscle. Now, my volume work is going to be done at 85% or thereabouts. In the beginning, I'm dry in the mouth. The percentage of my 1 rep max will be lower than 80%, and it will slowly creep up to 85, no, it will probably be around 80%, something like that, and it will slowly creep up as the bench creeps up. This is the bench, and this is our back of work. As the bench goes up, the back of work is going to get closer and closer. That way, it's more of a muscle building effect the further on I go. And in the beginning, the back of work will not be as much of a recovery issue, and I will give my body some time to adapt to it. So that's the plan. One set of 3 at 85% after every single overhead press or bench press session. And for the mathematicians who bring out the calculator or just calculate in the head, once again, it won't be exactly 85%. The goal for the next training cycle will be to hit 105. So 85% of that is a certain number. Now, the amount of kilos difference there is between 105 and 85% of 105, that kilo difference, let's just say it's 20. I can't calculate it now in front of the camera because I'm stupid, but let's say it's 20 kilos. Then I'm going to start the back of work while doing a 90 kilo bench press and then take 20 kilos off that. So that will be a bigger difference in comparison to the 105 minus 20 in percentages. If that makes sense, and I'm sorry if it didn't make sense, ask me in the comments, I can explain better. I'm kind of tired, but I figured that I still need to make this video anyway. On to the second factor. I'm just going to check if the camera is still working, because my phone is kind of stupid, and it is. Okay, 6-minute video, that's pretty long. Okay, on to the second factor. The second thing I will need to do in order to get stronger on the bench press is to eat. I have to create more cushion for the pushing, as the powerlifters say. Now, obviously, we all know that your body weight is highly correlated to your bench press strength. Every single world record holder on the bench press ever has been fat as fuck. Now, same can't really be said for the deadlift, except for at the absolute top level. But it's very consistent with the bench press that body fat does help. It does not only give you a leverage advantage with the range of motion, it gives you some form of other effect as well. This sounds like bro science, but it's very well documented that, that 1 centimeter that it does give you shouldn't make a difference, but it really does. And that leads me and other people to believe that it's not just the range of motion. Now, we don't really know what it is, but my guess is that, or what we do know is that muscle is easier to build when you're in a caloric surplus, because you have a surplus of nutrients and you put on fat, you increase water weight, you have a higher state of anabolicness in the body. Basically, you're more anabolic 24/7. Whatever you're doing, you're more anabolic. You've got more nutrients flooding around in your body, and when you put on weight, muscle mass is easier to build. And I think that like the chest, for example, there's more androgen receptors in that than say the quads, and maybe those androgen receptors respond better to food. Now that, my friends, is a complete bro science theory, but what we do know is, like I said, if you eat more, your bench will grow up as long as you train your bench. Now, my bench has been pretty much plateaued for a very long period of time, and I believe a big part of that is because even if I got heavier, I also got taller. And I'm not a big guy. I might as well do this right now because I'm not really embarrassed. Like, if you just look at my size, if I'm not flexing or anything, I'm not a big guy, okay? I'm not a big guy. And realistically, if you're not big, you don't have a lot of muscle mass, you're not gonna press a lot of weight. It's the muscle that presses the weight. So I'm gonna put on some weight. Now, the amount of weight I will still be there to decide. At the end of this 13-week cycle, the first week is kind of just get to a certain number and then it really starts. But basically, in about 12-13 weeks, I plan to weigh around 78.6, all right, 79, somewhere in that range. So basically, right now, I'm weighing in at over 75, so between 75 and 76 all days. So I'm going to gain about 3.5 kilos on my average weight which is not just like, oh, I'm really heavy today, I gained 2 kilos. No, it's about this week, on average, in my fitness app, I weighed 76.43, right? And now the plan is to increase that, because we know that after a certain point, if you're gaining weight, you are in a caloric surplus. And I can't really monitor my calories since I'm in school, since I'm at home, I can't count calories. So I'd rather just eat a lot of food and keep track of my body weight. And if I'm not gaining fast enough, I'll just have to eat more and be sincere with myself in like, did I really eat a lot today? No, I didn't. I got to go downstairs and I got to eat an extra meal. All right. So I'm going to add volume on the bench press, on the overhead press, a set of 3 at around 85% after every single heavy lift that I do, which will be 6 days a week. So in total, I'm going to add 6 sets of 3 per week on my pressing. This doesn't start next week, by the way. This starts the week after that. So I'll do this in about 1.5 weeks' time. I'll start with this. And in the meantime, I will be gaining significant weight week after week on my average weight, put on some fat, stimulate a lot of muscle growth. And in the end, when you take into account the fact that I'm not just training the bench press, I'm training squats, deadlifts, I'm training chin-ups, I'm training rows, I'm doing everything. When you take that into account, the amount of strength I'm going to gain in total throughout my body will be so high so that even these couple kilos of weight gain will not be a lot of fat. So I'm not worried about getting fat, rather I'm worried about not getting fat enough. So with that said, I hope this video makes sense for you. It felt like I made sense when I'm speaking to the camera, but sometimes it feels better in your head than it sounds. But I'm thankful that you watched through the whole video, which apparently you did, as you can hear me right now. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And by the way, while we're at it, if you haven't noticed, I usually don't do many speaking videos to the camera. Now, my plan is to increase those videos to once a week. And this will be this week's video, but I just wanted to say, heads up, you guys can expect more and more content in the future when it comes to speaking, about fitness, about different things. And right now I chose to speak about my own training, a specific element of my own training, but I will talk about many things in the future regarding diet, cardio, strength training, new methods, new trends, new scams, really stupid stuff, really smart stuff, different methods of getting strong, different mistakes people often make. It may not seem so by my strength level, but I am sitting on a lot of knowledge, and the reason I'm not as strong as I should be is mainly because I don't apply that knowledge, especially when it comes to diet. And I know already now that if I can correctly put on the weight, the next training cycle, my strength will go up massively. So enough talking. I'll see you guys probably sometime. I'm going to schedule this. I'm not going to post this directly, so I can't really know when I'm going to see you guys next, but I post videos every day, so I'll see you. Goodbye.